Hi there, I'm Kevin O'Connor, and welcome back to Ask This Old House. You know, there's a lot to like about our big red barn, but one of my favorite features is this beautiful stone foundation. And Roger, I know you're a big fan too.
A fan of a beautiful New England wall that's been around longer than we have. And look how Mother Nature decorated it. A little lichen here, a little moss down there. Only she could do that. Now, I got an email from a young couple who would love to have this wall in their backyard. Instead, they have, well, an ugly concrete block wall. But we're going to fix it. We're going to put up some trellis, and then we're going to plant a climbing vine on it. We're going to make that wall beautiful. I love the backyard. Who's the gardener?
I'm the gardener.
And who cuts the lawn?
That'd be me.
What a great team.
Yeah.
Now, your yard is set into separate rooms. This is nice flat area right here, and that was accomplished by this stone retaining wall.
Right. Yeah, we put this wall in, and it's not only attractive, but it's functional, because when we have parties, this acts as an area, and this is another area, and people can use this as a bench, so we're very happy.
So it's holding back this part of the yard, which leads up to this retaining wall.
Yeah, this is our second retaining wall, which is the reason why we called you, because it's not quite as attractive as the first one.
Right, and we really don't know what to do with it.
Well, it's really industrial looking with a concrete block. I mean, it has to be 6 feet high by 40 feet long.
It is.
This thing makes a statement.
It does make a statement. What used to be here was a sloping yard with lots of greens and plants, but our neighbors wanted a flat, functional yard, so they leveled theirs off, put this in, but it's a bit of an eyesore.
I've run into the walls like this a couple of times. Now,
Okay.
one thing I've seen people do is to paint the wall. Just cover the whole thing with paint.
Right.
That'd be okay, except that we'd have a big, ugly painted wall instead of a big, ugly wall.
Well, another thing I've done is to veneer stone on the wall. But a wall this big and this long, that would cost a lot of money.
Okay.
So let's take a tip from the yard. Let's put plants on the wall.
I love
sounds
that
great,
idea.
yeah.
What we're going to do is we're going to attach the plants and let them grow over the wall. But in order to do that, we have to install a trellis.
Okay.
Sure.
These are the trellis panels we're going to use today. They measure 6 feet long by 4 feet wide, which means it'll cover that wall quickly when we put them up.
Great.
Now, Adam, you grab that?
Sure.
Now, if you look at that, it actually looks like it could be redwood or cedar, but it's not. It's pine. It's been pressure treated and stained to look like those other woods, but because it's pine, it's less expensive.
I really like the way it looks.
You do?
I do.
One problem. See, the bottom of the wood is down into the soil?
Right.
Even pressure treated will rot eventually if it's in the soil. So let's take and raise it up one line.
Okay.
There you go. Now, this is where I would put it.
Okay.
2 reasons. We're out of the soil, and look, when the vine grows up, it's going to give us even more height and cascade over the wall.
Right. That makes a lot of sense, but how do you attach it to the wall?
We're going to screw it to the wall, but what we have to do first is put holes in the wood. We need 3 holes on each side of the panel.
Okay.
So that's 6 per panel, 12 panels. We got a lot of drilling to do. Amy, what you're doing is drilling pilot holes with a 3/16 wood cutting bit. Now, through those pilot holes, we are going to put in these masonry screws. And the pilot holes will keep the wood from splitting. You want to bring that trellis in.
All right.
Now, we're going to be drilling into these masonry blocks, so we need to use a masonry drill bit. In this case, it's 3/16 of an inch, designed to fit our masonry screws.
Okay.
To drill it, we're going to use this hammer drill. Now, I rented this. Anytime you have a lot of holes to drill into masonry, this is the only way to go.
All right, sounds good.
So let's hold that up in place. Hold up a little more. Okay, put your level on the top. You good there?
Yep, that's good.
Take your level off. Now I'm going to have you put your hearing protection on. Don't let that trellis move. Okay, I got the trellis. All the way to the depth. There you go. Now we're ready for the masonry screws. Now, it's very important that all these trellises align. So if you match that up,
Okay.
all right, take a look at the top for me. How does that look?
It looks good.
Okay, let me just check it for level. Perfect. Okay, hold it right there.
Okay.
I'm going to take the hammer drill and drill this hole. Okay. Still look good?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's good.
Let me put the screw in there. I think of a trellis, I think of climbers. And the perfect climbers here are vines.
This is beautiful. What do I have here?
That's autumn flowering clematis. That's one of my favorites. It's a real aggressive grower. And in July and August, if you look, you'll see the flowers are just starting to form.
Okay.
They're white and they're fragrant. It's absolutely great plant.
Awesome.
What do you have over there, Roger?
Well, this one is honeysuckle. I like to vary up my plantings. I don't like to do all the same thing. Now, this honeysuckle flowers heavily in the spring, but you can see here it'll throw out flowers sporadically during the growing season. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I mark out where the plant's going to go. Make a big circle. You want the hole 2 or 3 times the size of the plant.
Okay.
And you look here. We're only going to have to dig about that deep to get this
about a
plant
foot?
in. Yep.
Okay.
Now, we're really lucky because whoever backfilled this wall used really good loam. So all we got to do is excavate our hole and put the plant in. All right, that looks good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the plant out of the pot. The easiest way to do it is to turn it upside down and just let it slide out in your hand.
Okay.
Now, this isn't too root bound, so it's in pretty good shape. But the trick I do with vines when I want them to grow in a trellis is I take and tip them back. That'll force it to grow right up there.
Okay.
What I'm going to do now is just take a claw and loosen the soil up a little bit. Teasing the roots out like this will encourage them to grow out and stop them from growing around in circles.
Okay.
Now, with the plant in place, I'm going to add a couple handfuls of superphosphate and starter fertilizer. And then I'm going to just take all that good loam and put it around the vine.
You say superphosphate?
Superphosphate, it's a chemical that helps the roots grow.
Okay.
Jump on it.
Okay. Oh, jump on it? Okay. Be more aggressive.
Well, I have a little more to jump on it with than you do, okay? Now we're going to take advantage of the space that we left behind the trellis. We're going to see this vine, how it's laying down?
Yeah.
We want to get it growing up. So any place you can you take something like
Yeah,
that?
I definitely can. Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to be dainty with it. These are pretty tough.
Okay.
Now just take this piece of jute
Got it.
and tie it right to the lattice.
Okay, so go behind the lattice.
Yep. I like to use the jute because it's going to break down in a year and it won't girdle the vine.
Okay, great.
All right, let's feed this one up through.
Great. So what do I do to maintain these?
The key to their success is going to be watering, and proper watering is once a week throughout the summer. All right, what we want to do now is put down about a 2-inch layer of this pine bark mulch. That's going to do 2 things. It'll help keep the weeds down, and it'll keep the moisture in the soil. So just take and throw it on up in there, and we'll be good to go.
Roger, this is fantastic. A couple hours ago, this was the biggest eyesore in the neighborhood, and now it looks great.
You wait, in a couple of months, this wall is going to be covered.
Can't wait. It's going to be phenomenal. Thank you so much, Roger.
Thank you.
It is going to be phenomenal. And I'd say the lattice alone is pretty good looking.
Yeah, the treated pine with a 9-inch by 9-inch opening really look good on that wall, but there's other types of lattices you can use. This is a 4x8 panel, a pressure treated, and it has a 2-inch by 2-inch square. You can also get a 4x8 panel on the diagonal.
Gotcha. Now, this stuff here is a little thin. Are you worried about vines being able to grow up behind it?
That's the problem with this is there's no room. If you look at our pine panel, it's 3/4 of an inch thick so that the vine can get right behind it and grow up tight to the wall.
So we can still use this type of lattice, the PT, but we just have to make sure that we set it off the wall. I guess either by furring it out or maybe put it on a post.
It's going to be a little more work.
Okay. Now, what can you tell me about cost?
4x6 pine panel is $50. The square lattice is $40, and the diagonal lattice is $25.
All right, great information. Thanks, Roger.
You're welcome. Guys, obviously it's an outdoor tool. You can tell that because it's green and it's made of steel. Now on this end there's a lever. When you throw the lever, it opens up these really sharp teeth. When you throw the lever the other way, it bites.
Ooh, wow. You're not kidding.
What is it?
Well, I tell you, this is one of the great training tools. Say you're trying to train some zoo people.
Oh, the zoo
The
people.
zoo people, you know, they got to feed some angry animal. Say you've got some really out of his mind hyena
Whoa, wait a second. Hyenas are laughing.
on the outside, but when they're hungry, they can get really mean. So watch. So now you come like this. Oh, I'm afraid. Try it again.
Look out. Oh! I don't think so.
I don't like that, John.
No. You're right about it being an outdoor tool, but while you guys are outdoors working, I'm outdoors golfing. Yeah, and I just want to tell you one thing. On your golf ball, it's all about the dimples, and they can wear down over time.
Sure.
Yeah, next thing you know, they wear down, and your hook becomes a slice.
I don't know where you are.
I'm right here. So you got to tune this thing up, and that's exactly what this is for. This tunes up your golf ball, and if you do it right, your hook stays a hook.
Sort of a dimple later.
Guys, this tool belongs outside. This tool is actually a brush puller. Now, it's designed to pull brush out of the ground, roots and all. And it gets its strength from this fulcrum, this T-shaped black piece. Now, we're going to lay it on the ground, put the teeth around the trunk, release the teeth, and they grab the stem way down low. You just pull back.
Look at that.
Pulls
pretty
it out,
good.
roots and all.
Yeah, that's good.
There it is.
Ah, there you are.
I gotta tune up these dimples. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Kevin.
What's with the window?
Well, I'm actually going to show you how to properly flash the top of a window.
Okay.
You can have the best window, the most efficient window. It can be installed plumb and square and everything else, but if it's not flashed right, water will get into the building.
Okay, so teach me how to properly flash the top of a window, please.
All right, it's different types of material. This is a piece of aluminum right here, and it's called a Z flashing. Comes in different widths to match the trim of your window.
And this is stock, and it's already bent up. You can find it easily at the hardware store.
Right. Now, this piece would actually sit on top of the window.
Gotcha.
All right?
And the purpose here, obviously, is that this piece right here goes behind either the clapboard or the shingle to make sure that if the water runs down the wall, it doesn't get behind the window, it runs out in the front of it.
Exactly. Now, this piece of Z flashing right here is actually too narrow across the front. See, there's a space right here. So I'd have to fabricate a piece or make my own because of the buildup of this window.
Not uncommon with these old windows.
Exactly. So there's space there, and there shouldn't be. So what I would have to do is I would have to fabricate my own. Now, to do that, I would use a piece of aluminum like this,
Yep.
a little bit longer than the window. Now, the first thing I want to take the measurement of is this leading edge, the way the flashing comes down over the front. All right, and that's about 1/4 of an inch. So I mark 1/4 of an inch on my flashing like that. I then take the piece over to my brake. I take it, slide it into the brake, line up my pencil lines, bringing it down.
So we've seen you use a brake before for bending sheet metal for gutters and such.
Right. Okay, now it's clamped down tight. I simply bring it up and bend it a little bit past 90. I now have my leading edge.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now I want to bend the flashing up the wall. I've created a gauge block, the thickness of the casing plus the molding. I take the gauge block and I push it against my brake, and I hold my flashing flush with the gauge block.
Now, I don't have a brake. Can I borrow yours?
Well, I know you can rent them. All right, now I just bend that up a little bit past 90. And now I've created my own Z-flash.
All right, well, let's see how that fits. Now, here's that gauge block you made, and it is exactly the thickness of the casing and the trim.
Right, now let's see how we did. Put this on here. It fits tight to the wall, no space behind it, and we've made up our own Z-flash. Now let me show you how you can bend this flashing without a brake. It takes a little longer.
Okay.
Let me show you over here. I've got a piece all set up. All right, now again, the first thing I want is this leading edge right here, which is 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to take my framing square and I'm going to put it over the flashing, revealing about 1/4 of an inch. With my utility knife, I'm lightly going to score right across it. Now, I don't want to cut it too much because I don't want the piece to break off. Okay, now what I've done here is I've got 2 pieces of 2x8 clamped together.
And what, you got a bevel on the end there?
Right, I've got each piece beveled about 8 to 10 degrees. Because when I bend the metal, it'll spring back, so I have to go past 90 to make a 90.
All right, so we've got ourselves a little homemade brake.
Right, so now I'm going to put the piece in, and I'm going to line up with my slice. Okay? I got it lined up. Now let's just clamp down on these clamps, because I don't want that piece to move. Okay, now I'm going to take a scrap piece of wood. I'm going to put it right on top of the piece. Now hold our piece. I'm going to push down. Okay, now it's there. I'm going to take my hammer and just tap it. All right, let's see how we did. Okay, now you might have to pry that open with a hammer a little bit.
Sure.
Okay, now you can actually see our leading edge is bent.
Gotcha.
Now we have to bend the other piece up in the back. So that we'll use our gauge block.
Okay, so again, that is the thickness of the window casing and the trim.
Right, so I'll put it on there and hold it flush on the outside. I'm going to put a little mark on this side. Now on the other side.
Got it.
Now I'll just line those up with my framing square. Okay, now I'm going to score it lightly.
Gotcha.
Okay, now let's put it back in our portable brake here.
Love this homemade brake you got here, Tommy. Although, I still want to borrow yours.
I don't know, I said you can rent one. All right, let's lock it down tight. Okay, now this one I have to bend forward to me, so I'm going to put the 2x in here. Okay, now I'm going to pull the piece over. Okay, now take the hammer and bang it down. All right, let's see how you did. Pretty good. Bend it a little more. All right, now we'll take it out. Now we have a Z flashing all made up.
All right, well, this is pretty ingenious, but your homemade brake is still a lot more labor-intensive than a professional brake.
Right, but let me show you another way that's quicker, easier, and you don't need any brake at all. This is a material that I like to use when making flashing. It's actually lead. It's soft, it's pliable, It's easy to mold.
And this stuff's going to last a long time, isn't it?
That's right. Now what I'm going to do is, the first thing I'm going to do is going to hang it over the table edge here, about halfway, and I'm going to bend it about a 90-degree angle.
So this is just generally forming it?
That's all. All right, so we got it pretty good right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now let's take it and lay it on top of the window. Now let's center it. I got about a 1/4 inch overhang now.
Same here, yep.
Okay, now the next thing I want to do is take my scrap piece of 2x4 and a hammer. I'm going to tap it in place. Tap it in nice and tight. I want to tap it down.
Okay.
Okay, now the next thing I want to do is I want to form it over the front edge. And to do that, I'm going to just take my thumb and bend it down. Make sure you keep the flashing tight against the wall. And I got it down roughly where we want it. Okay, now let me get my 2x4 and hammer again. Check it, make sure it's down, seated right. I'm going to take it on the front. I'm going to hit the face in tight. Okay, check it one more time, make sure it's good there. All right, that's sitting pretty good. Now, we want to make sure we're centered. I got about a 1/4 inch overhang.
Same here.
Now what I want to do is I need to cut that 1/4 inch reveal down the front. To do that, I'm going to eyeball it. Take my utility knife, come down about a 1/4 inch, and I'm going to cut it right across the front. Got it? Now we should be able to peel that right off.
Beautiful.
And now we have our flashing. All right, now I have one more thing that's very important, whether you're flashing a window with lead or any other type of material. If I kept this flashing flush with the edge of the window, surface tension could pull water under the flashing, getting the top of the window wet. So to stop that from happening, I want the flashing to come proud of the edge of the window about a 1/4 inch. With the lead, I can simply take a hammer and pound this in like that, fold this one down on it, and I can create a corner so water will not get across the top of the flashing.
That is great, Tommy. All right, so some good lessons about properly flashing the top of a window. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Now, about that break.
Richard, I've lived in this house for about 3 months now, and I've had to put up with this annoying sound. And it happens every time I turn on the water. It's incessant. It keeps ticking and ticking. Tick, 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 tick. This plumbing problem is driving me crazy. Tick, 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 tick. So, Richard, there's a strange sound coming here from the faucet. Every time I turn on the water, I hear this
Must be right up here.
ticking noise. Can you hear that?
Absolutely.
But it's even worse here in the bathroom.
All right.
Especially in the morning when I'm brushing my teeth and I have the water running. Listen to this.
Oh, yeah.
Can you
There
hear
it is.
that tick, tick, ticking noise?
That must drive you
From
absolutely
right
crazy.
up there. It does. I had a plumber here, and he said that it could be a problem with the PVC vent stack.
Okay.
And he said that I could do either one of two things: wrap the pipe with insulation or replace the pipe with cast iron.
Right. He might be on the right track with the whole vent stack idea. You know, anytime I hear that kind of noise, I think that there's some pipe rubbing up against wood. And there's not that many pipes up in that attic. When I got your email, I put together this little mock-up. Here's the plumbing system that's inside any building. Here's the main drain that carries all the water out to the sewer. It turns vertically, and this is the main stack inside the building. So here's the branch that might take all the water from this bathroom, and let's call this your kitchen sink drain. Now right above that is your vent stack, and that continues out through the roof, and that's really important so that air can come in here so these fixtures work properly. Now, there's not that many places that this pipe touches wood. There's only two potential culprits. One is where that vent stack goes through the floor of the attic, if you have one, or where it goes through the roof sheathing right there.
But why would it be making that noise?
Well, think about it. If it's rubbing up against the wood, and now you run water here, the weight of that water wants to pull this stack down so it can go like this and rub against that wood. Let me run up to the attic and see if that's the culprit.
Okay.
Okay, so here's where our vent stack leaves the building. It goes up through this roof sheathing right here. And you can see they did a pretty good job cutting away that sheathing so it doesn't rub up against the PVC. And I can see the flashing is fine up there. But look at down here. Here's 2x4s that didn't even drill. They notched them, but not enough. So on this side, look at this. It's right up against the wood, so there's our noise right there. So we really have to release all this wood from rubbing up against that PVC. And for that, I'm going to use a keyhole saw and just notch that wood away. right, that should do it. No squeak. We move it. Good. Well, Karen, I think we're going to have to change that whole stack to cast iron.
Oh, you're kidding.
Only kidding. Only kidding.
Oh.
I actually did find some wood up against that vent stack, and I cut away with a keyhole saw. Turn the water on. Let's try it. What do you hear?
Absolutely nothing.
As it should be. Enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Richard.
So you decided not to replace everything with cast iron.
3 minutes with a keyhole saw, 3 days in a big mess. I went with a keyhole saw.
I'm sure she appreciated it.
She did.
Nice job.
Thanks.
Well, if you've got a strange noise in your house or any problem at all, we'd love to hear from you. So keep the letters coming. Until next time, I'm Kevin O'Connor.
I'm Rich Three.
I'm Roger Cook.
And I'm Tom Silva.
for Ask This Old House. All right, what's this?
Your knuckles.